you had told Rick to get you if anything occurred. Imagine yourself at that place, 1981. Imagine where you were then. You can imagine yourself as close or as far from the situation as you'd like to. Sometimes we imagine as though we are there. Sometimes we imagine as though we were watching it occurring to someone else, or like on a movie. We have this ability to bring ourselves closer and further and maintain our level of comfort. Imagine yourself lying down in the top bunk. You're going there about 10:30 p.m. You just told Rick to get in touch with you if something happened, and you go and lie down. As I relax you, imagine yourself being there. Imagine the feelings you had then, and as I ask you questions, you'll be able to answer without affecting your trance. And when I say relax, relax, and feel a feeling of your whole body, feeling a peaceful wave of relaxation. As I count from 1 to 3, imagine yourself in that top bunk, and imagine having the feeling of being able to speak freely and answer my question. 1, 2, 3. What is happening?
I'm trying to sleep, and I'm very, very tired. I'm worried that if something happens, they won't come and get me. But I fall fast asleep, and somebody touches me, and I roll over, thinking it's Rick who's come to get me. It's not Rick. There's somebody else there. Somebody's looking at me. He's different. He's not human. His eyes. I can't stop looking at his eyes. I'm very upset.
Remember, whatever did happen, did happen. You're okay. Allow yourself to receive the information without needing to invest in it.
There's more than one.
Okay.
They're touching me. They're taking the blanket off me. A hand comes from my right, and there's something in the hand. It's metallic. Sort of looks like aluminum, but darker. And it touches my forehead. I see sparks. I see a light. And then I feel very different. And then I see two more faces over me. They're starting to move me. I don't know how they're moving me. I think they're holding on to me. I feel them holding on to me, to my arms.
How does it feel?
Tight.
How tight?
Like a firm grasp. It's almost uncomfortable.
And the temperature of that which is touching you?
Cool. Cooler than my body temperature.
A lot or a little?
A lot. soft, though.
Like
Silk. And it wraps all around my arm, the fingers. And there's a hand on my upper right arm and a hand on my upper left arm.
from the same source?
No. The one on my right is holding me with his right arm, right hand. The one on the left is holding me with his left hand. And the one over me has, I think he has his hands on my hips. I'm not sure. But he's in that position. I can't feel very much there. I can't feel as much as I've felt before. I feel tingly all over.
Are you seeing them?
Yes, but they're dark. It's dark there. It's very dark. So dark, they're almost like shadows, like ghosts. But their eyes are so black, they're blacker than the darkness.
And what are they wearing?
I can't tell. I can only see their heads. They're starting to move me. I feel as if I'm floating. I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on. But they do not look frightening.
Now while you are floating, are they still grasping you?
Yes.
So you're all floating together?
Yes.
How many of you are there?
4.
At what speed?
We're starting to move. Oh my God. They're moving me through the glass in the window. Oh, that's so weird. They tell me not to be afraid. I see them coming through the glass with me. I see the glass passing through my body, and I don't feel anything. I think I should be cut by the glass, but I don't feel anything.
What gender are they?
The one who looked into my eyes first, he's on my left, holding my left arm. I sense that he's a male. The one to my right, holding my right arm, I sense that she's a female. The one over me, and now he has his right arm on my right leg, upper thigh. He's a male too. And we're floating past the trailer. We're starting to rise up. And there's this light. There's this strange light. It's getting brighter and brighter. And I'm looking around as best as I can. I can see the trailer disappear below me, and then the drilling rig moving off into the distance. But they don't feel real. There's something. I don't feel like this is happening. I don't understand. The one on the right, she comes over and looks into my eyes, and I feel a sense of love and peace. But I feel that we're floating upwards. We're going closer to this light. I'm having a hard time seeing because I'm looking up at the stars, and there's this light bouncing off them now.
Where are you now?
I feel I'm inside a room. It's no longer dark outside. It's light all around me. there are more of these beings walking around. They have me on some sort of a table that's moving. I'm moving down this hall, and they're walking next to me. I'm trying to look at their faces. Now in the light, they're so pale. They almost look like ghosts. They're so pale, almost white. They're all small. They have big heads, small, spindly bodies. I see one now. He's doing something. He's doing something with some tools or instruments. I feel I'm on a table. I'm trying to ascertain if I'm awake or not. There's another one who looks into my eyes, and he's calming me down. Strange eyes. And they're taking my clothes off. I feel them taking my clothes off. And the table is cold. And there's some more. They come over on my right side. There's one standing next to my head, looking at me. He leans over me, and then he stands up. And there's another one next to him, to his right, and he's doing something, waiting for the one on my left who is bringing over some instruments. The one who looks into my eyes keeps on telling me not to be afraid.
With what attitude is that said?
With a lovingness. It's like he knows who I am.
So what are they doing? What is happening?
I'm seeing more of the room now, and I see them moving around and moving very quickly, and I don't know what they're doing because I can't see what they're doing. I can only see where they are relative to my body. I feel them touching me on my abdomen and around my genitals, and they're doing something there. Then the one with the instruments, he comes between my legs, and he's doing something there. And I begin to feel some pain. And the one not to my right looks into my eyes, and the pain starts going away, but I can still feel it. I'm seeing this in a detached way right now. I feel like it's happening with me, but I'm like more of an observer. And yet, I don't remember seeing these beings before. They're different from what I've seen before.
Recently before?
Yes.
Describe who you're with now.
I'm still with the one on my right. He's been there all the time. He wants to make sure I'm comfortable and not in pain. I'm surprised by the way they look. They don't look like what I thought they look like. They look more wrinkles on their foreheads, and their eyes are not as big as the typical ones I've seen before. They all have, their color is all the same, as if they're not wearing any clothing. They're all this chalky white. They're so strange looking. And I feel them stimulating me. I'm having an orgasm.
Does it feel good?
Yes, at first it feels good, but they keep on making me have an orgasm, and it gets more and more painful. I can't stop, and I start crying out, "Stop!" And the one next to me looks into my eyes. I don't like him looking into my eyes.
What are you reacting to?
Right on top of me now. He's right over me, almost like he's climbing on top of me. And he has his head right on top of mine, and he's looking straight down into me. And
You know for sure it's a he?
Yes.
How?
I have a very strong negative reaction to him. I feel repulsed by him. I felt very warm and close to the woman, and she's down by my leg.
Is she communicating with you?
She's telling me how good it feels.
How good what feels?
The orgasm.
Is she involved in this with you?
I can't see. I'm feeling there's pressure on me down there. I can't tell for sure, but she is telling me how good it feels and to continue. I don't think she is having intercourse with me. I think she wants me to want to come more.
How is your sperm being collected?
There's this tube that comes over my thigh and goes to the something on the right. I can feel her hand on my penis. They're collecting so much. Finally, it's over. I feel so relieved. Now they're shining something in my eyes.
Are you being held down?
I can't move.
Do you know why? Or how?
I don't know. When one climbed on top of me, he had his hands on my arms as if he was trying to hold me down.
What's the ambient temperature in relation to what you'd expect?
I feel cold, but I feel the warmth of the lights from above, but I still feel cold.
Is there still someone on top of you?
No, it's over.
What were they doing on top of you?
Holding me down and looking into my eyes. I think I tried to resist. I wanted them to stop. It was hurting so much. I felt something being put inside my scrotum. I felt them push it through the skin. And the one on the right, he came over and looked at me, and he said, "This will help you have a normal ejaculation."
You normally had normal ejaculations, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
It was very difficult for me to have a normal ejaculation, and it was usually somewhat painful, and I'd always thought I was sterile. The pain in my scrotum was going away, although my testicles ache more than they've ever ached before.
Do they talk with each other?
I don't hear any sounds.
Is there a leader among them?
The one who held the instruments. They are all more similar
More similar than...
the small grays I've seen before. And the tall grays, they're different. All sort of alike. The only distinction is that one of them he's talking to the others. He stays on my left side and the others are on the right side of me and watching him. And I know he's communicating with them. But the only one that I can hear in my head is the one who looks over me.
Does he have an accent?
No. He doesn't say much. I ask him questions and he doesn't answer. He just tells me to calm down, everything's going to be all right. It'll be over soon. And he looks into my eyes. And I feel him controlling me. I feel my fear and pain go away when he does. But the pain comes back soon after he stops.
What does he do to alleviate your pain?
He looks into my eyes. His skin is so wrinkled. And I feel peace, a sense of pleasure and peace take over my body. I feel like I'm inside his head. I don't feel like I'm experiencing what I was experiencing in my body.
And what happens next?
They tell me to get up off the table, and I'm standing there. And they tell me to put my clothes back on. And they move the table. The table is, they can move it. And they put it over on the side of the room. And one of them helps me get dressed. It's the woman. And I feel very comfortable with her, but I don't feel comfortable with the others.
Why do you feel comfortable with her?
Because she likes me. And the others, I feel it's like an anger, but not like an anger. That kind of a feeling that you know when somebody doesn't want to be close to you. But the woman wants to be close to me.
Do you know her?
She seems familiar, but I can't be sure where I've seen her before.
Does anyone else there seem familiar?
One of the other males. I may have been with him before, but I can't be sure. What made me feel so uncomfortable being on that table was that I did not recognize the doctor who did the operation, and the one who bent over me, I'm seeing him again. He's very methodical, not like he cares about me. Then they take me down this hall. I'm walking with them, and when we get to this room, they tell me this is where they're going to take me back, and this time only two of them hold on to me, and they touch my forehead again with that metal rod. And then there's this bright light, and we're floating down. I feel us floating down, and I see the trailer coming closer and closer, and the one on my right, who is the one who leaned over me, he tells me not to be afraid as they pass me through the window again, and I don't like that. And we're on top of the bunk again, and I feel me dropping down into the bunk, and they do something. The one on the right does something, and I feel I'm no longer paralyzed. But then I begin to feel my pain, and I start tossing and turning, and I'm very cold. I pull the blanket up over me, but it does no good. I'm shivering, I'm shaking, curl up in a fetal position, and I get very angry that I can't get back to sleep. And I'm angry that I had these nightmares. And I get out of bed and put on my boots, and I walk to the front of the trailer, and I want to know what's going on. I want somebody to tell me why it's so cold and nobody's there. And I'm upset that nobody's there. And my testicles ache. They ache very badly, and I don't know why. And I open up the door and look out, and I look at the drilling rig and the drilling platform, and there's nobody on the platform. And I want to know why. And I look around to the side, and I see everybody clustered together out there, like in a huddle, looking out into the field. And I see some lights move away, and then they turn and they start walking back towards me. And I see some lights move away, and then they turn and they start walking back towards me. And I wait for them to get back. I'm so cold. I'm so cold I feel pain. It's so cold. And Rick comes in, and Susan is behind. And I ask Rick what was going on. And he says we were out looking at watching the UFO. And I say, why didn't you come and get me? I told you to come and get me if the UFO came back. And he says, we did, but you weren't there. I said, what do you mean I wasn't there? I was in the bunk back there. Did you look in the bunk? And he said, yes. I said, you couldn't have. You must be lying. And he says, I'm not lying. And Susan says, you weren't there. And I take his hand and I march him back. And I show him the bunk, and I said, I was in this bunk, and he says, no, you were not there. We looked in that bunk. And I looked at him, and I was in too much pain and shivering too much to argue. So I let him go, and he goes out into the front of the trailer again. And I follow him. I feel like I have to walk off the pain. And I'm so upset that I go and get in my car and I drive back to the motel. And I go to sleep. By the time I get back to the motel, I'm no longer cold, and the pain in my testicles has gone away.
Relax. Deeply relax. Allow a nice, peaceful feeling to come over you. In a few minutes you'll awaken. We'll talk a bit, and then you'll relax again. So for now, till I say relax, and that way, when I do, you'll imagine yourself even more relaxed than you are now. And for now, imagine a nice, gentle feeling of wakefulness coming over you, where you feel a lightness in your arms, your legs, your hands, your feet, a gentle feeling of peace, a smile coming over your body, over your face, your breathing returning to normal, a feeling of well-being, like the piece of the puzzles closer to being solved, so you have more of a feeling of peace coming over you, feeling wide awake and in a very, very good mood.
Will somebody touch my hands, please? Are they cold? They're cold like they were that night. All the time I was imagining this in my recollection, trying to see more of what I was experiencing. It was like seeing through the bottom of a Coke glass. It was like I could see clearly things that I focused on, but everything around it was blurred. And I would change my focus, and I'd look at something else, and it was in focus, but what was in focus before was blurred. Is that normal? It wasn't like it was like now. Everything's clear and in focus. Even without my glasses, I can see everything in the room, even though everything is blurred, except things close up. But what I was seeing was things coming into my vision and moving out of my vision.